Not sure if you fine people are aware, but about 3 months ago, a new Star Wars movie came out, Star Wars Episode 8. And I'm not a big Star Wars guy, I'm more into Star Trek, but my old man wanted to see it. And before going to see that with him, I felt like I should watch Star Wars. I've only got one copy of Star Wars. I don't have the prequel trilogy. I've only got the original trilogy. And that copy is on VHS. 2 of which are from the final release from 1995 of the unaltered original trilogy. This one, I think, is from the 80s. 1980, it says. This copy is. But, VHS. And what do you need to watch a VHS? You need a VCR. This lovely beast, not the first VCR in my life, but the VCR I've been using consistently since I think about 2003. It's not an extremely expensive VCR. Just a cheap little, very light plasticky deal. Every time you rewound something in it, it would make this delightful high-pitched whining noise that made it sound like it was either going to eat the tape or explode. And so I popped in Star Wars, made it about 15 minutes into the movie after that stupid fucking interview with George Lucas, and started emitting a lovely whirring noise, and the picture started going fuzzy? Not fuzzy, but zigzaggy on the screen, and I said, oh shit, this... she's dying on me. So, unhooked her I did, and the hunt began for a new VCR. My friend Stuart, who lives relatively close to me, says, well, I've got a VCR down in the basement if you want to take a swing by. And I said, sure, and found this in the corner of his furnace room, covered in about 6 inches of soot and dirt and other delightful shit. One delightful point to note was that the remote control was coated in corroded battery acid. I did my best to clean it off there. I don't know if you can still see it. But I plugged it into a little flat screen he had in his basement to discover... Oh, there's fucking battery. Little flat screen he had in the spare room there, and it worked until I got it home. When I tested it on his little flat screen, I did so using RCA cables. Unfortunately for me, my current retro setup, I've got a 1988 Sears television in there with a, I believe it's a UHF connection and a coaxial connection. And I do have an RCA to coaxial converter, but I use that for my Xbox. Which left me a little perturbed to discover that neither of the coax outputs on this particular device work. So that was a failure. And with that, back to my newest acquisition, this GE VCR that I just bought. I just got home from picking up. This was $20, 20 Canadian dollars, which is approximately $1.50 in America. And it came with this coax cable with a bent pin. That's fine. Plugged into the back, so I'm assuming and hoping that the coax connection works on this, and if not, then I'm going to take the 3 of them and Frankenstein one functioning VCR out of them altogether. But what's interesting about this is not the VCR. What's interesting to me is this Sobeys bag full of VHS tapes that she handed the VCR to me with. And as soon as she handed it to me, this is double bagged. The handles on the bag immediately ripped and it hit the floor. So I'm doubtful that all of these are going to be in functioning condition now. But I wanted to go through them bit by bit and show you what a delightful haul I got. So right off the bat, we've got 2 Adam Sandler movies. Billy Madison and The Wedding Singer. And I wish you could see the trash bin. Yeah. Then we've got Forrest Gump, which I think everybody is required by law to own at least 2 copies of on VHS. This I've never heard of. Joyride, starring Steve Zahn, Paul Walker, and Lily Sobieski. A hot-wired white-knuckle thriller. Paul Walker, I guess, somewhat typecast in his driving cars shtick. Then we've got Titanic, winner of 11 Academy Awards, delightfully on 2 VHS for your viewing pleasure. I don't like Titanic. Maybe I'll keep this around in case there's somebody with a vagina that comes over. Benny Hill's video, spelled with an exclamation point. Review. Benny Hill's particular brand of humor is probably the most unexpected British conquest of America since the Pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock. His zany sketches have taken the country by storm, and who can get enough of him? For all his established fans and those new to his name, this is the very best of Benny Hill, rapid fire, unabashedly, and brilliantly funny. A hilarious good time. Keeping in theme, here's I believe this appears to be a Mr. Bean compilation tape, Unseen Bean, with a whole Mr. Bean episode never seen on TV. Wow. Probably going to remain unseen, I'll be honest with you. Richard Gere and Laura Linney, The Mothman Prophecies, based on true events. Oh boy. From the director of Arlington Road comes a spine-tingling supernatural thriller based on actual events that will rattle your nerves and shake your beliefs. Distraught by the sudden tragic death of his wife, John Klein, a journalist for the Washington Post, finds himself mysteriously drawn to a small West Virginia town when his car inexplicably strands him. Yeah, no, I read that right. Okay. Whatever, I've never... Oh, it's got a Blockbuster sticker on it. I love that. Please remember to rewind. If this label is broken, you must purchase the video. Copyright 1997 Blockbuster Entertainment. I may save that and do something with it. I've never seen this movie before. I wish I had picked it up sometime before Halloween. I may watch that. I may. I just may. The Comeback Kid, starring John Ritter and Susan Day. This looks to be like the most 70s American thing I've ever seen in my life. John Ritter playing baseball, and big set of blonde cans right on the cover. A story for anybody who's ever dreamed of being somebody. Bubba Newman, a Major League Baseball player who has just dropped from the big time, his dreams of glory and stardom taken away from him when he meets Susan Day, the supervisor of a playground. John Ritter gets a character name, Susan Day does not. She asks him to coach a team of youngsters, but as Bubba soon finds out, these aren't your average children. They are tough, streetwise kids who don't trust anyone. Alright, so this is like the most generic sports movie that ever existed. I don't know, maybe. What's the runtime? 97 minutes. Romantic comedy. Maybe. Sleepless in Seattle with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. I have heard of this. I've never seen it, and it's probably going to stay that way. Stick that over there with Titanic. Kingpin. From the idiots who brought you Dumb and Dumber. Woody Harrelson, Randy Quaid, Vanessa Angel. 2 thumbs up. Way up, Siskel and Ebert. Yeah, I'm not watching that. Operation Petticoat. I have heard of that. Jesus, this is an old one. 1959. Okay. The USS Sea Tiger is on its last legs until the handsome skipper and his ingenious, if slightly unethical, junior officers scavenge the parts and supplies needed to put the sub back into action. Forced out to sea prematurely by an enemy air attack, the sub leaks and limps along its path until 5 stranded army nurses come aboard and initiate their own renovation, and the sub ends up blushing pink, making a target for both Japanese and American forces. That sounds funny. I'll put that over there. Camp Nowhere, starring Christopher Lloyd. Poor Christopher Lloyd. This bastard. Oh man. This one, I can tell just by looking at the stickers. This $3 sticker, as well as this above 14 sticker on the back. This came from Sydney Video, which was the local video shop before it closed. No, fucking a frame Mothman. You can sit there instead of Mr. Bean. Yeah, that can go with the fucking Adam Sandler movies. I know we're gonna watch that. This is a blank tape. Nothing on it. Record something off TV, I guess. Pretty Woman. Trinky or Julia Roberts. That is like the most generic cover in human fucking history. I swear I've seen 6 movies with that cover. Oh, it's got the 18 and above sticker from Sydney Video. Yeah. Label just right off. This one has not been rewound. Very bad. For shame. Proof of purchase. Oh yeah, I'm gonna need that. And last tape is, okay, shit. Casablanca. Remastered Collector's Edition. So just, oh, it's got a fucking gatefold on it. Isn't that something? I've never seen a VHS tape with a gatefold on it. Wow. That's cool. Just jerking off how popular this movie is. I'm assuming it's a 1992 release since it says 1942 to 1992. One of them movies that's like an undisputed classic that you're never ever going to get around to watching, but I guess maybe I will now since I own it. Whatever. So that's a lot. I just kind of wanted to take you on the journey of discovering the particular tastes of the individual who I bought this VCR from. I don't know her name. And it's probably better that way. That way she can't get mad at me for making this video. Jesus Christ. They're like Casablanca in the same collection as Billy Madison. Jesus fuck. Alright, I'm gonna go plug that VCR in and see if it works. Thanks.